Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today's video we're going to be discussing Gen 7, the Alolan Pokemon. So hop on in and let's get right to it. So, starting with number 1 on the list for Alola and Gen 7 in general, we have the starter Primarina. Now, Primarina is probably, from what I've gathered online, just from online, for just a little bit of discussions and everything, Primarina is probably the least popular of the Alolan starters. I kind of get it, just because out of the designs, it's not the. It's. I will say this, and I'll admit this as someone who actually really likes Primarina. The design compared to Decidueye and Incineroar just isn't that. It isn't as good as the other two, and it's just, it's a pretty much it's a mermaid. It's just a mermaid compared to like Incineroar as a like a wrestler, or Decidueye as Robin Hood. I think, from what I remember correctly, this is right around the time that I actually started getting back into Pokemon a lot more and playing it. In all honesty, both games, so Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun, and Moon, which I played through Moon. Yeah, I played through Moon, and I picked Primarina. Both times, first time I played through, I picked Populo, Populo. It's pre-evolution. It started off at first that I really liked it. I liked the design of Populo a lot more than the other two, and part of it was just like me wanting to go against like the popular choice, which at the time was Rowlet, which I like Rowlet. Rowlet's pretty cool, but I don't know, something about Populo just stood out to me. I was just like, okay, I like this. And in all honesty, it evolves into fairy type. It's Primarina, and it's one of the few, it's one of the few fairy type Pokemon that I genuinely like to use and enjoy. With this generation, we are introduced to Z crystals, Z moves, all that good stuff. Again, going back to like how I said with a few other Pokemon, I would always make sure that Primarina had Sparkling Aura, so that way I can use the Primarina. No, not the Primarina, right? Because that's a Mega Crystal, but the Primarina Z Crystal. But to make the Sparkling Aura, and I just really enjoyed using that. Its ability, which was I believe it was Liquid Voice. Basically, what it was is like any sound based move became a water type move, and I was just like, okay, making me think that the sound type Pokemon that I've mentioned before, which isn't really a thing, but like I said, I still think it would. I think that there are several Pokemon that will do well if they made a sound type an actual thing. And even as unlikely as it is, if they were to make three type Pokemon, like one that's a flying, fire, rock type or some random shit like that, I definitely think Primarina could stick with the fairy water type, but add on that sound typing and just give a little extra oomph, in my opinion. And again, this is I just remember like whenever I was playing through Sun and Moon and Ultra Moon, can't remember, but the Poke Island, I remember definitely this was one of the first times, or not the first time, because I think it happened in Gen 6 in Kalos. But again, I really love the personality of Primarina in those games, where like you could just like after the battle you can like let them, feed them treats or whatever, and help heal them of their status ailments. And I just remember really liking the personality on this one, on Primarina, and it's being adorable. Like even in real life, like Primarina, like if I had to choose a starter from Gen 7 in real life, it'd be Primarina, just because I just really love this Pokemon, and it's brought me many a good victory. Number 2 we have Dust Lycanroc. Now this one was kind of an easier choice. I think that Lycanroc in and of itself, especially its pre-evolution, Rockruff, yeah, Rockruff. It's an adorable puppy. Um, Dust Lycanroc is the one that I picked just because of the fact that I like it a lot more than the other, like the well, uh, day and night. I don't remember what exactly their forms were, but I like how more wolf-like he is compared to the other two. I know with day Lycanroc and midnight Lycanroc, that's what it was. What I didn't really like about midnight Lycanroc was the fact that it stood up and it kind of took on like a werewolf type appearance, but it just didn't work for me just because of the fact that in all honesty, its hands, I just didn't care for that all that much. It just looks so awkward that it doesn't really fit. Midday, I never did. It's fine. It definitely looks like it definitely looks like I would say the true evolved form compared to Rockruff. Just because it's still got the same color scheme and everything. But what I like more about Dust Lycanroc and whatever that noise is, I like how it takes on it gets like that orangish hue, like like dust time. I also like the fact that it's looks a little bit more on the feral side compared to normal midday, and it's like it's got a little bit of the midnight like feralness. Like it doesn't have like the glowing red eyes like midnight does, but it's got the blue with the lines and everything. And I really like, and it was the design. The main reason why I used it is because I got it as an event for I think you got it as an event pre-ordering Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I think that's what it was. And it's just like I I would use it, especially just because it just looked cool as fuck, and it saved me a good bit of trouble because it's one of the few like pure rock type Pokemon that I actually really like. I would say rock type in general is not it's not my least favorite typing, but it's up there. So I just never really bothered to use a rock type Pokemon because they never interested me all that much. Alright, and I think that's it for Alright, number 3, we're gonna have Golisopod, the bug water type Pokemon. Again, this is one of those few bug type Pokemon that made me really actually enjoy the bug type. I think the last one we talked about was Golisopod back in the Gen 5 game. Golisopod is another one of those ones that I was just really surprised that I remember catching its pre-evolution Whimsipod. It was one of those overworld encounters. You had to be careful, you had to be smart about how you caught it because it would run away from you. And so what I did was I took the tourist run or the tourist charge Pokepal ride thing, and I just like sped up on it like just to like make sure I caught it. And I really like its ability what was it? Emergency exit, I had to think of it. Basically where it's just like if it gets hit one good time and half of its health leaves, or it loses half of its health, it can bounce back out and you're good to go. Again, this is one of those Pokemon that has a move called First Impression. I just always kind of like associate it with Golisopod, and I do my best to try to make sure that he has it. And yeah, First Impression. It only works like the first time you bring your Pokemon out, and does like it's 90 damage and 100% accuracy to hit. That's really fucking good, especially if you've got like, especially if your speed's up and you're the faster of the two. Or this is one of the I'd say one of the few Pokemon that I actually share a love with, like, or share on my team. Like with one of the main villains, if that makes any sense. Um, Guzma, Golisopod is his ace Pokemon. Some of my favorite Pokemon have been like champions or gym leaders, obviously. But I believe that this is like the first time that I actually had one that was in line with the with the evil team, and I say evil because they're just a bunch of kids who just want some sort of guidance in a place where they can feel like they belong. Honestly, Team Skull, a lot of people, like to shit on Team Skull because they're incompetent. I was like, that's kind of the point, though. They're just a bunch of kids who, like, either failed their island trial or they felt like outcasts, and so they just finally found a place to where they can go and belong to, and all they really did was just... The worst thing that they did was a misdemeanor and try to fuck with a bus stop for the most part. Hell, the Aether Foundation were the real villains all along, which just goes to show you kids, don't trust big corporations. I say as I hold in a Samsung Galaxy phone talking about a Nintendo franchise. Starting with number 4, we're going to have an Alolan form on this, and the only Alolan form on this list. We're going to have Alolan Raichu. Now, this one was one of the ones that kind of was a big shocker. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I was kind of surprised. I was very surprised to have Alolan Raichu on this team or on this list. Just because I have never liked Raichu all that much before, and no offense to Pikachu in the back there, but I honestly I liked Pikachu in the anime, and that was really about it. But I never actually liked using Pikachu in the games, with the exception of Pokemon Yellow, because you were kind of forced to use Pikachu. It's just I just didn't really care for it. Just because of the fact that it evolved into Raichu, and I was just like, I don't want to use Raichu. I just do not like the design of the Cantonian Raichu like at all. But the Alolan one is just so cool. It's a surfer. It's an electric psychic type, which, if I'm correct, is like the only. It's one of, if not the only, of its typing. And I just really love the fact that how it's just like you basically took there's obviously some change elements of Alolan Raichu's design, with the fact that its eyes are more like a really like clear, like almost glassy blue. And I just love the fact, like I said, he's a surfer, and I just love the fact that he floats on his tail and just surfs. I'm just like, fuck yeah. I definitely like how and I also like how they added the yellow. Like, they took a lot of the yellow from Pikachu and basically added it to like his tail and his ears and his thunder sacs. And I like how they kind of kept like the base design of Raichu, but just changed it enough to where it looks so much different. Like, it's still got like kind of like the tan brownish skin of Raichu, and it's still got the extra long wider tail that Raichu has, but they just have it pretty much flip up underneath, and he just starts to surfing, just surfing through battle. And I just it's one of those things. It's just they already took like a simple-ish design and slightly tweaked it enough to where it just, honestly, this is perfect. Like, if you had asked me to describe, like, try to come up with a design for a psychic electric version of Raichu, it wouldn't be this. And I think that's just a testament to how good it is, just because you're just like, it doesn't look anything like you would expect it to. Like, if someone asked you to describe, like, to design it yourself, I don't know of many people who would actually come up with something that looked like this, that kept Raichu, like, at the basis of the Raichu design, without drastically changing it too much to add into that psychic typing. originally, like when I first played through it, the first time I used it, just a little bit. All right, number 5, we're gonna have another electric type and another bug type, Vikavolt or Vikavolt. I'm gonna call it Vikavolt because I like that. I like that a little bit better. This one was a bit of the pain in the ass because when I first saw it, I was just like, "Oh shit, a bug electric type bug electric type that I can get early on, and early on in the game, you can get out like Route 1 or something similar to that." And then when I finally got it, and it evolved from was it Grubbin? Yeah, Grubbin, and then it evolved into Charger Bug, which it's like a battery. It looks like a little battery in a little bus. Like, how could you not? That's such a. I love it. I just love it. It's so adorable. And then I found out the truth because my Charger Bug. Let's see. What the fuck? So there's the bus. Anyway, so it was one of those things I was like, alright, this thing's at level 20 and it hasn't, or Grubbin got to level 20. It was like right around the time I hit 20th level with them. I was just like, alright, why hasn't he evolved yet? He's supposed to have evolved like 10 levels ago, 15, like 5 levels ago or whatever. And then he finally evolved at level 20 to Charge a Bug. And I was just like, okay, yeah, cool. So I decided to look it up. I looked it up and I was just like, when does Charge a Bug, like Grubbin's evolution line? And it's just like, yeah, you don't get to Vikavolt until like late game. And I was just like, fuck you game. Fuck you game. I was just like, I was so excited to actually have this Pokemon and use them for so long. And like, I think at that point I was just like, there was a part of me that was just so irritated that I was like, I was this close to just put him in the box and not dealing with him again until we got to the point where I could get to Grand Pony Canyon. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I just kept him in there. I was just like, you know what? We already got the level 20, or past level 20 because he hadn't evolved yet. And I was just like, we're just going to see this through. And so when I finally got to Grand Pony Canyon and I got to the point where I was able to get into a battle and he evolved, the euphoria I felt when that happened, I was just like, yes, yes, yes. Satisfaction, satisfying victory, sweet, sweet victory. I was just like, and he stayed in my team throughout pretty much the entire game, and then he came in clutch in some of the Elite Four victories, especially against the flying type leader. And I was just like, yes, Vikavolt, you are the greatest. And I was just like, I loved it just because it was like, I think this was right around the time that I actually started like getting back more in touch with Pokemon, like a lot more. Like me saying how Charge a Bug is adorable. Like for a while, like even as a little kid, I was just like, starter, okay, that's it. I'm just gonna use my starter. I don't give a shit about these other Pokemon. Like, yeah, they're cool, but they're not my starter. And so it was like right around this time that I actually decided to try to play the games as an actual trainer, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to develop the bond, like especially like when you could get the friendship level and they brought like an actual meter, which yeah, that had always been there, but actually seeing like your relationship with your Pokemon grow, it was right around this time, especially with like Vikavolt, whatever. I've said it several different times now, but that just really made me actually just sit down. I was just like, yeah, okay. And yeah, there'll still be those type of Pokemon. It's just like, I don't know how to use these Pokemon effectively in battle. And so I'll be the first to admit, I'll switch them out, and I'll talk about more of that in the next video with Gen 8, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, it's just the satisfaction of training this Pokemon for that long, and then when it finally got to, it evolved, I was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. And yeah, I've had several pseudo legendary Pokemon on the team and everything. But for me, this was different because of the fact that it's such an early game Pokemon that you have to pretty much take it almost all the way to near end game for it to actually fully evolve. And so I was just like, okay, yeah, oh, I like this. I like this a lot. Alright, last but definitely not least, we are going to have our first and only legendary Pokemon on this entire list, and that is going to be the legendary Pokemon Necrozma, or as I like to call him, Zima. Now, this is my favorite legendary ever. It's my favorite legendary of all time, and it was one of those things like it. Nothing against Lunala and Solgaleo. They're really cool, really nicely designed Pokemon, especially because they're like the only legendaries that evolved from like Nebby into Cosmog into their and into the last the evolution. I just really, they are fine. They're really cool, but I just something about Necrozma that I just really enjoyed. It's just I liked how lore wise, for more or less, Necrozma is the reason for the Z stones in Alola. I like its design. Like I said, the design is basically like a giant. It's a prism. It's a prism Pokemon, but it's like a giant black crystal with like these like massive ass hands with like the shoulders coming out and everything. I really like how let me see, it's like its eyes or whatever, or like it's either like I can't tell on the picture itself. It's either one eye, like, or two eyes I should say, and they're all like crystallized to show the different colors of the Z crystals, or if they're like just the Z crystals like in a line. I can't tell from here, but again, it was just one of those things. Is like, and it's a pure Psychic type, so it does some. It's really good typing. And again, this goes back to the Pokemon of Me, I think is what it's called in the Alola games. I can't remember. I think they may have changed it up, but I'm not sure. I just playing with it, feeding it, petting it, and everything. I was just like seeing it like just interact. I was just like, I love you so much. And then when they did Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and say what you want about those games, which I think if they would have done that again, if we go back in time, I would have picked just up Ultra Moon instead of both Moon and Ultra Moon. But that's neither here or there. Necrozma Zima pretty much becomes like the box legendary of the game. They gets dust form with it gets like they bring back the combining of like black Zekrom, black Kyurem, white Kyurem, and it brings back that combination between Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma, and they look really cool. Don't get me wrong, I thought they were really cool, and I liked how they brought in like the parallel universes and everything. They brought in, if you're playing Ultra Moon, you got to ride Solgaleo through the different wormholes until you can get to the alternate universe that you need to go to for the true like Necrozma Awakened or whatever, and that is without a doubt the hardest fight I have ever had in a Pokemon game. It's a Psychic Dragon type, which I'm pretty sure it's the only typing of its kind. I was just like, oh my god, what the hell, man? Like, that thing kicked my ass so many times. I literally had to stop playing that game for a couple of days just so as I could just catch my breath, walk away, and then go back in and try to kick his ass. But I just really enjoyed that. It was like when I finally got to beat it, I was just like, yes. And then like later on, it just crashes. You find out the Zima like just crashes into one of the like the mountaintops or whatever. You can just go in there and you're able to have that battle with just regular old Zima after, or yeah, I think it was a battle, or either that or you just automatically caught it, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it just like crashed down in that crater, and it just was such a sweet. I just really like that moment because he was just like, I can, we can do this. I can do this all day, like Steve Rogers, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of it. All right, and thank you so much for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know, what did you think of the video? What did you think of my list? What are some of your favorite Pokemon from the Alola region? And as always, don't forget to have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all later.